So grab your mat or just a piece of floor. Take one more sip of your coffee. And we will get started. So we're just gonna start standing today with a little bit of activation. So before we get moving into actual yoga poses, just kind of bounce around. Let your arms be loose. Maybe take a few hops. And then come lengthwise on your mat. And we are just going to start to kind of warm up the core by rocking back and forth. Let the foot come up when you rock to either side. Like a qigong type of exercise, but warming up the spine, really gentle. The core turns on a little bit each time we move side to side. One more time each way. And then we'll come up to the top of the mat. Grounding down through the feet. Just close your eyes for a second and notice where your balance is. One big breath here. And then on your next inhale, we'll raise the arms up overhead, let your gaze follow. And fold forward over bent knees on your exhale. Let your knees be gentle and soft. Let your head be heavy, maybe shake it yes and no. And then on your next breath, we'll plant the hands. Walk the feet back just enough until you can bring your knees down onto your mat and your hands come underneath your shoulders. So first here, we're just gonna move up and down out of the shoulders. So almost like the first iteration of cat-cow before we bring it into the whole back. Just moving in and out of the shoulder blades. And then let's start to take it deeper. Moving through your cat-cow, so the chin comes up, tailbone goes up, stretch out the neck, and then round out the back on the exhale, or the inhale. You can do whichever breath feels better for you here. Let's do this 2 more times. From here, come back into neutral, just start to push the ribs out from side to side. And then we'll bring the hands out in front, the knees will come closer together. Start to warm up the wrists and the hips. Just barrel roll the hips a few times in one direction. And then we'll switch and go a few times in the other. Getting the wrists nice and warm. From here, just send your hips back into our child's pose. Tense your fingertips. So it's really active in the back still. Hold here for a breath. And then you can start to melt everything down, bring your forehead down to the mat. Bring your elbows close together in front of you and your hands in prayer position. And then your forehead comes back down and your hands come to the back of your neck. So you're stretching out through the armpits, the lats, serratus anterior. Everything under the arms is being really stretched out. One more breath. And then bring the hands back down, take them over to the left-hand side of your mat, stretching out the right side of the body. And then we'll crawl the hands through center, all the way over to the right. Forehead can come back down or whatever is comfortable for you. Come back into center. Come back up into our tabletop. We're going to tuck the toes under and just push back with the hands so we stretch out the feet a little bit. Really important to stretch the feet out before we head into the day, just kind of waking them up since we're on them all day. come back forward, untuck the toes, sit back onto your heels. From here, we're gonna tent the fingertips just behind us. Push the chest out forward. You can let the head come down if that feels good. Stretch out the neck. And round it out forward. Bring the hands down, child's pose. Start to roll your way back up. If that felt good the first time, we're going to take it a little bit further. So tent the fingertips behind you, and we can come up onto the knees. So you can bring your knees a little bit wider, your big toes are touching underneath you. So tent your fingertips. You can do exactly what you did last time, or this time we'll lift the hips up and the head comes down. One breath here. And then round it back out. Child's pose. From here, bring the knees close together. We're gonna bring the forearms in really close. This is called a lumbar lock. So a lot of the time when we're twisting, we're actually twisting from our lower back, and we wanna get up into our upper back, into the thoracic spine. So you're going to bring your knees in close together. If this feels good in your body, your right arm stays where it is, and you're just gonna inhale the left arm open. You can bring it all the way up. You can bring the left hand to the back, whatever feels good in your body. Just hold here for a breath and then unwind, bring it all back in. Switch sides, inhale the right arm up. Whichever iteration you took on the first side. And then bring it back in. We'll do that one more time each side. Hopefully you're feeling that in your upper back instead of in your lower. Inhale the left arm up. And back. And now the right side. And back. Come forward onto hands and knees. From here, we're going to take the left leg out long to the side. So this is a deeper version of the twist that we just did. And option here, you can always keep your knees wide, keep both knees on the ground and your big toes to touch, and do a regular thread the needle where you inhale, arm up, and exhale it through. This is just the next version of that. So if you want to take your left foot out to the side, you can do that. We'll leave the left hand down somewhere in the center of your chest. Inhale the right arm up and exhale it through. And come all the way down. We'll hold here for a breath. And then inhaling the right arm up one more time. Bring it down on the exhale. From here, we're going to sweep the left foot all the way back behind us and as far over to the opposite side as you can. Just lean the hips back. This is kind of like a version, well, you'll feel it in some of the same areas as you will in pigeon. Stretching out the left side of the body, the right hip, the right glute. And then we'll come back into center, bring the left knee where it was before in our tabletop. Take the right foot up long to the side. We'll leave the right hand down, inhale the left arm up. And exhale, bring it through. One big breath here. And start to come back up, inhale, left arm goes to the sky, and then back down to the mat on the exhale. Sweep the right foot all the way around to the opposite side. And then we'll come back into center. From here, we're going to move into our first downward dog. We haven't done a lot of hamstring warm-up, so take it really easy. Keep your knees super bent at first. Just lift the hips up. Pedal out the feet and the calves. Warm up the hamstrings a little bit. And just relax into it. We're going to take 3 breath cycles here. As your hamstrings and your calves start to warm up. One more breath. From here, shift forward, roll the spine forward until you're in your plank. Hold plank for just a second, and then bring the knees down, lower all the way to your belly. Bring the hands slightly out in front. We want to be able to grip through the finger pads, loop the shoulders up, back, and down, and come up into cobra. Again, we want to feel this in the upper back. And exhale, release. We're going to do this 2 more times. So inhale, come up. And if you want to, you can bring the left shoulder down, look over the right. And release. A lot of twisting today. Last time, inhale, come up. And drop the right shoulder, look over the left if you did so on the other side. And release. You can make a pillow or stack your hands. Rest your forehead down or bring one cheek to your mat. Take a little rest here. And then we'll bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. Push up through our tabletop and back into our down dog. From here, we are just going to tiptoe to the top of the mat and fold forward. Again, bend your knees as much as you need, as much as feels good. Shake the head yes and no. Maybe bring your hands underneath your feet, wiggle your toes around, give yourself a bit of a hand massage. And release that, just roll your spine up to standing on your inhale. Big exhale at the top. We're gonna do a couple crazy breaths, just to kind of wake up a little bit more, a little more activation. So on your inhale, reach the arms up, and we're gonna forcefully exhale and bring the arms down by our sides. So it looks like this. And then you inhale back up slowly. 2 more times like this. It actually makes you feel really good. And the next time you inhale up, clasp your left wrist with your right hand, just lean over to the right. Come through center, switch the grip, lean over to the left. Ribs go out to the right side, just stretching out the side body a little more. And then we'll come through neutral, bring the hands to heart center, take a deep breath here. On your next breath in, hands come back overhead. And exhale, fold forward. Bring the hands to the shins. On the next inhale, create a flat back. Then bring the hands to the mat on the exhale. Take the right foot all the way back behind you. Bring the knee down, untuck the toes. We're going to lift the arms up overhead. And to get into that right hip a little bit more, just bring the hands over to the left if it feels good in your body. If you would like another twist, you can reach the right hand all the way forward and the left hand back. And if you want even more of a stretch in that right hip, make it a little more intense, you can exalt this pose. Bring the right hand overhead and the left hand down. I'm going to stay in this twist. This is what feels best for me right now. And then you can start to unravel. Bring the hands down to frame that left foot. Pick up the back knee and just start to rock back and forth. Get into the left hamstring a little bit. The next time you rock forward, bring the right foot up beside the left, fold forward. Roll the spine up to stand on your inhale, and big breath at the top. When your next breath in comes, reach the arms overhead, and fold forward on the exhale. Come up halfway, and then bring the hands down on your next breath out. Take the left foot all the way back. Untuck the toes, bring the knee down, arms come up overhead, low lunge. get into that left hip a little bit more. Bring the hands over to the right hand side if it feels good. And if you would like another twist, reach the left hand forward, right hand back. Exalt it here if you did so on the other side, and that feels good on this side of the body. And wherever you are here, we'll start to unravel. Bring the hands down, frame the front foot, pick up the back knee, and just rock a bit back and forth. The next time you rock forward, step the left foot beside the right and fold. And roll the spine up to stand. From here, we're going to bring all the weight into our right foot. Float the left knee up into center. Whatever you need to do with your hands to feel like you can balance here is great. Then we're going to flex the left foot, cross it over the right knee. Standing figure four. You can place your hands on your leg, bring them into heart center. You can bring them all the way down if you want more sensation in that left glute. Wherever you are, we'll take a breath. Start to rise back up. Left knee comes into the center of the chest, and then take it all the way back behind you. Glide it back. Coming into Warrior 3 or airplane pose, your hands can be back behind you or up by your ears. Or you can do a little bit of shoulder activation if you can balance. Start to bring that knee forward and back down beside the right. Wiggle it up. Bring your weight into your left foot. Float the right knee up into the center. Flex that right foot, cross it over. Figure four, other side. Send your breath into wherever your body is feeling the most sensation right now. One big breath. And then start to rise back up. Knee comes into center. Send it all the way back. Warrior 3 or airplane. Try to keep your hips facing the mat instead of opening up towards the side. But whatever you were doing with your arms last time, see if you can do that on this side. Woohoo! Keeping a micro bend in that left knee. Right knee floats back up, and then right foot comes down beside the left. Shake it out a bit, or bounce around. Come to standing here again at the top of your mat. Close down the eyes if it feels good. And just notice where your balance is. From here, we're going to open them back up, heel toe your feet to the outer edges of your mat. You can reach all the way forward. This is going to release any tension in the low back. We're coming into a wide-legged yogi squat, but with your hands all the way forward, round the back out. And then from here, bring the hands just behind you until you can come down to your bum. Feet are out in front. We are going to bring the hands in front of us and just head down to your back as slowly as you can, just a little bit more core activation. Having a strong core means that we are protecting the low back, which is where a lot of people feel a lot of pain. When you get to your back, I'll turn a little so you can see me. We are going to bring the heels in close as we can to our bum. Bring the elbows to the mat and your hands are facing up like robot arms, and just push through the elbows so your chest comes up just a little. So your hips are still on the ground, your head's still on the ground. It's just a bit of a heart opener. Gentle pose, one more breath, and release. You can bring your feet a little bit wider and just start to windshield wiper your legs a bit. Also just releasing the low back. And then bring your heels back in close. We'll come into one regular bridge. On your next breath in, start to lift the hips up. You can roll your shoulders underneath you if that feels good. And then clasp the hands together so you can bring some pressure into the arms instead of any pressure going into your neck or head. And then start to release, bring it back down, bring the knees into the chest, give yourself a squeeze. And I'm going to give you a bunch of options depending on where you're at in your practice right now. So you can bring your feet up into your hands for happy baby and just rock back and forth on the spine, giving your spine a little massage. Or you can bring your knees over to the left if you want another twist. Or you can rock the knees back and forth, trying to keep your shoulders on the ground if you want a little bit more core activation. Or last option, if you want a little bit more of a restorative pose, you can take your legs up the wall if you have a wall close by, or a bolster or a foam roller underneath your sacrum. This just helps the hips keep the legs in the air. And just relax here into this. We'll take a few breaths here. Maybe bring your hands to your belly and you notice where your breath is going. If your knees are over to the left, you can bring them up through center and start to take them over to the right. Bring your twist to the other side. And we can start to move again whenever you feel ready. If you have your legs up the wall and that feels really nice and restorative, you can stay there by all means. We are moving into Shavasana, our final resting pose. So if you want to stay in your twists, if there's any other poses that you feel you want to do before we come into our final rest, by all means. A couple that might feel nice just to help the back round out one last time would be to tent the fingertips behind you, push the chest out for a breath, and then lean all the way forward, reach for the shins, round the back out. And whenever you're ready, we'll head back into our Shavasana. Close down the eyes, open the palms towards the ceiling, roll the shoulder blades underneath you, and just melt into your mat. Cleansing breaths before we start the day. You can stay in your Shavasana for as long as you like. Or if you're ready to start your day, bring your knees up closer to your chest and roll over to your favorite side. Start to push yourself up to a comfortable seat. Maybe give yourself a little hug. And I hope you have a great day and that this was supportive for that. Let me know if you have any questions. The light in me sees and recognizes the light in you. Namaste, everybody. Have a great one.